You show up for your shift and you realize your name alone is on the board. There's no preceptor and you're standing there at the nurse's station thinking, what did I just sign up for? Because that is what you're thinking now, because yes, it's real. All of us have been there. I know exactly what you're going through. I know exactly where you're standing. And nobody really sat you down ahead of time and told you everything that will be happening on that day. So I want you to just go ahead and stay with me through the entire video here while I talk with you, because I know definitely this video is for you and you will find some information, relevant to your situation. When you're doing orientation, a lot of times they don't really tell you everything that you're going to be expecting. You will have your preceptor, you will go through your competency checkoff list, and then one day after the end of orientation, that's when you show up and it's just your name on the board. There's no preceptor to be found, or preceptor has her own assignment or his assignment, and no, it's just you have a full assignment there, whether or not it is 4 patients, 7 patients, depending on the department that you're working. You have real acuity, real families, real doctors problem, real nurses problem, and that feeling starts hitting you. You start quietly panicking. You are there probably having the shakes. And it's not about you being weak. It's not about you not choosing the right career or you choosing the wrong career. That is just something that every single nurse, that you respect, and everybody in their first job, they always go through something like this. The difference between the nurses who make it though as nurses and the ones who don't is about, it's not even about intelligence, and it's not about how many exams or how fast they pass the NCLEX. It is about what they did with that feeling. So we're going to talk a little bit about it. You're off orientation and you're feeling alone. So the first thing I would encourage you to do is find a person. Find that one person. Not everybody you're going to go to. Find one person on the floor that you respect and you can always go and talk with. Usually an experienced nurse is somebody that you feel very comfortable with, and you can always go ahead and ask them, 1 and 2 questions very quickly. The questions that, you find yourself feeling stupid about, but definitely you want an answer. So you can go to that person, because the difference between you staying in nursing and quitting after 6 months is going to be based on how well you learn at the initial phase. So when I was a new nurse, I had 1 or 2 persons that I was using, and some of them were not even having a bachelor's degree. They were enrolled nurses. And I tell you, I watch how they did things, how they prioritize, how they move, and how they talk to doctors, because they were senior to me on the floor, because I was like a new grad at that time. It's not a case where you're not supposed to be off orientation. It's just that you don't know everything, and you're not supposed to know everything. Orientation, what it does is gives you the foundation, and the floor gives you the education. And that one person that is going to be there is going to help you to survive throughout it while you're still building. So choose one person that you feel comfortable with. I don't know. Right now, you're probably watching the video. Who is your one person? Just think about it. Who can you go to tomorrow morning and say, hey, I want it to be my big sister or my big brother? That is the kind of attitude that we need to have if we want to grow. A lot of times, us as new nurses, when we come in, we try to hold the entire shift in our head at once. It not going to work. It's not going to work. All 5 patients are there, and everybody has their own tasks. They have different medication, discharges, admission. The doctor hasn't called back because there's so many things. But you cannot do everything. You cannot do everything at once. And so sometimes you see it, and then what happens is that you freeze. And that is a mistake that a lot of times we do in our early stage of nursing. For the first hour of your shift, your entire world is your assessment and your morning medications, at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock medication, and that's it. Focus on those. Nothing else exists until those are done, because you have to start. You have to do your assessment and you have to give your medication. Then you expand your shift hour by hour, task by task, and that will kind of get you into the habit of making sure that you keep up with everything. So when I started this, everything changed, because your brain is now getting a little bit clearer. Your patients are a little bit more safer, and that is when you stop going home feeling like you failed the shift, because you have a little bit more organization. The third thing is to normalize not knowing. It's okay for you to not know everything. And I don't know everything right now, but I'm still ask questions. You understand? So when you get out there, don't feel as though you're supposed to know everything. You're a new nurse, you're learning, you're just starting learning. It's okay for you to not know some things. Nursing school trained you to have answers. NCLEX train you to have answers. And then when you get into the real world, that is where you will be asking the things that you were not ready for. So go ahead and make sure you're asking all of those questions. And, and all of the person probably feel as though they're ashamed because they don't understand this and they don't know what's going on. Sometimes it will make you feel paralyzed as well. I totally know because I've been there. So when you have those, doubt or those questions, the least you can say is, nurse, I'm not so sure. Can you help me to check this, or can I come back after to check it with you to make sure that everything is okay? That's it. 5 seconds and you're done. What you're doing right there is protecting yourself, your patient, your license, and your professionalism, because you're a little bit more professional when you're doing that and not guessing. Because a lot of times, sometimes we tend to pretend. If you're a nurse that pretend, it is very dangerous for you. Try to be the nurse that is always going to be verifying certain things. Talk with your patients and their family about their care. Not knowing is not you failing. And when you don't check something, that's when the problem starts. And the problem starts with you and end with the patient, because sometimes the patient die on us. I wanted to just go ahead and just subscribe to my YouTube page here. I think nursing, share it with a new grad, a new nurse, a nursing student, probably somebody else out there that needs to hear this video. Just go ahead and share my video, have them subscribe to the YouTube page here, I Think Nursing, where I talk about real nursing stories and just real life over here on my page. Sometimes the assignment didn't even look like it was worth it, because sometimes you get off the shift and you're replaying everything that happened, things that you wish you could have done or managed better. The family you didn't get a chance to update because you never get a chance to sit down with them. The charting that you rushed through because the floor was falling apart. And I want you to know that, yes, it happens every single day. Depending on which department you're in, you're going to have those days. But bad shifts doesn't make you a bad nurse. And it doesn't mean that you choose the wrong career. I've had numerous bad shifts. I go in my car and cry. Driving home, I'm thinking about all of those patients, all the different things I could have done. I sat down at home and still replaying. But what will happen is that you will start draining yourself. And that is how heavy sometimes our work gets. It gets to a point where you sit down on your off days thinking about things that you did and didn't do. Nurses who replay their shifts, the ones who ask, could I have done better? Those are the ones that grow, because what happens is that they feel it and they learn from the situation. And they come back for the next shift and try to improve on the area that they were weak in before. And the final thing I want to say, you might be here and you're probably wondering, how is it that you're not doing so well? There probably is another nurse out there who is in a similar situation, but that nurse is moving a little bit fast, a little bit more confident, effortlessly. But you don't know how long it took that nurse. It can be years, not months, years before that person started, feeling a little bit confident. So just remember that you're in the beginning and you're not supposed to be there as yet. You're not supposed to be there as yet. You're supposed to be learning. You're supposed to be making all the mistakes, asking the questions, building your muscle memory. And then over time, you will realize that you will improve and become a better nurse. Nurses in emergency room, ICU, operating room, everywhere, they're still learning. So one thing I want to encourage us is to stop comparing our beginning to someone else's middle, because we don't know. It's not fair to you. You're building something right now that it takes time. So it might take you 2 years, 4 years, 6 years. But one thing I want to encourage you is to keep on showing up. Keep on showing up, because you will eventually get there. What I want to say is just go ahead and find that person. Shrink your world. Normalize not knowing. And separate your bad shifts from your worth. And trust your timeline, because that is it. Nobody told you were coming off orientation and this is how it's going to be feeling. But yes, I know you wish somebody would have explained a little bit better. Is what it is right now. I wanted to just go ahead and just drop in a comment. Where are you in your nursing journey right now? Are you still in orientation? Did you just come off? Or just talk? Put it in the comment box. I want to hear it. And then we can have more conversations from there. Until then, I will see you. Remember to go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube page here, I Think Nursing, and be a part of the family. You can follow me on the other social media platforms, I Think Nursing. Until then, bye.